Welcome to the Confidence in Action podcast. I'm Coach Tony from My Personal Best Coaching. Around here, confidence isn't a feeling. It's what you do next that counts. Each episode, we'll unpack real stories from youth sports arena. We'll unpack a simple tool you can use straight away and provide you with a clear next step. And today, I am really happy to introduce my good friend, Eric McGrath. He and I have been working together. We've been entwined together on this whole leadership journey. So, Eric, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. That was one heck of an intro. I like it.
You are the man, the pivoting man on a soccer field. But we won't go into that today. A little inside joke.
Fair enough.
So
I did a pirouette on a soccer field. I don't know why. It just happened. Anyway.
So I'd love to talk to you today about your experience as a dad to a soccer player. You've played soccer at college. You've played all sorts of places. You were a dad to a soccer player, and now you're a grandfather to a soccer player. I'd love to unpack some of this and get your experiences, what it was like as a dad. By the way, you are a very young-looking grandfather to a soccer player.
I cheated a little bit. I married into it, but they're mine. I count them as mine. So, thanks for having me. And, it's interesting because my background, as you mentioned just a moment ago, is my career is in leadership development, people development, team development, that type of stuff. And I grew up playing soccer. And so, my son was playing soccer pretty early, 4 or 5 years old, kind of where they do. And, it was always confusing with my son because he was athletic, extremely athletic. But when we put him on a soccer field, he kind of shrank in it. He wasn't this crazy athlete that just dominated and did all these things, which was always my mindset. And later, as I was going through this leadership journey, I learned about personalities. I learned about what motivates a human being. And somewhere along the way, I learned that, wow, he really is a different person than I am. Not just, we all get they're different people, but they are motivated by different things, and they have different personalities and different desires and goals, and at the same time overlapped with wanting to make me proud as a dad to him, and because kids have that, and it was just all this intertwined things. And so it was a roller coaster of a journey with my son. And then comes my grandson, who at 4 is the best athlete I'd ever seen in my life, could play every sport possible, extremely aggressive. And we put him on a soccer field and he just dominated. And so I got to coach both of those different perspectives. I got to be on the other side and watching and cheering on as they got older. And the roller coaster that you go on as a parent or grandparent or just caring about somebody that's on this journey. And soccer, by the way, like most sports, as you get higher and higher, it's political, it's grueling, it's more like being part of a corporation sometimes than it is actually, which is why I think a lot of people get into it, is the love of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to go with that, but that's just kind of my background and my experience with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd love to dig deeper into you as a dad first. You were a soccer player, you had a passion and a drive, and then your son steps onto the field and it's different. How did you deal with that?
Yeah, really poorly. It was
thanks for your honesty.
Man, so I'm a just assertive, direct, now make it happen. When I was on the field, I wasn't the most skilled, but I outran, outworked, out hustled, out aggressive. You can give me somebody a foot taller, I'm gonna see if I can out jump them. It was just that's where it was. And which, by the way, isn't necessarily the makeup of a great soccer player either. But let's go with that.
Me and you both were on that same path. I wasn't great, but no one would outwork me.
U.S. soccer back in the 80s, that was probably par for the course. But so when we put him on the soccer field, and he's 4 or 5 years old, and I can still remember him being so excited when he scored his first goal. And it was incredible. And he's jumping around and I'm over there and I'm like, wrong goal. It was horrible because when I look back on it, he was so excited. He was loving the game. It was fantastic. And he literally scored on the wrong goal.
Brilliant.
And I watched it and I shut him down. And I didn't I mean, I didn't think it was that 4 or 5 year old. I'm like teaching him, he needs
Yeah.
to learn. But the reality was I needed to learn. And
Yeah.
I needed to learn that it was that joy is why we're doing it,
Hmm.
not not so he scored in the goal. But at that time, it was score as many goals as you can. That's where my mind was at. You and what it really was as I got older, is I realized, I'm living my youth through him
Hmm.
and putting all these demands on him and
Yeah.
expectations on him
Yeah.
absolutely caused him to work harder as he was younger. But as he got older, it's a recipe for anxiety, stress, pressure, and implosion. And, part of this that we haven't talked about is owning a leadership development company. One of our major avenues that we work with is university athletic sports teams. So
Yeah.
so I get to see the full progression. I got to work with them young and coach them young. I got to see them as teens and what they go through and the identity and all of that. And then I get to see maybe not the professional output, but I get to see them in college and kind of where they are and how this pressure translates all the way through. So that's really shaped my perspective of where I was to where I am to
Yeah.
being different. But going back, that was the question. I didn't handle it well. It was when he made a mistake, somehow it was a personal thing for me. It
Yeah.
was my image. It was my, I don't know. So he scored that goal in the wrong goal. I was embarrassed, not
Yeah.
embarrassed for him. I was embarrassed for me.
Yeah.
So it was really about me and it should have been all about him, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
anyway, that was how
Yeah.
it started.
Yeah, well, and we talk about this a lot. My personal best is the idea that we as parents, right, take our kids to the soccer field, and what should be happening is it should be their journey, and we should be there to support them and go, "Yay, well done," right, and believe in them, even believe in them when they can't believe in themselves. Right, that's really what a teenager is looking for half the time. But then what we do, embodied that, and I've done it as well, is we embody our personality on the field, and now on the sideline, hang on a second, I'm now embarrassed because my kid scored in the wrong goal, when really it had nothing to do with you. And it's getting to understand, parents, just stand on the sideline, have fun with it, and let your kids enjoy themselves, because
Yeah. And
it's a
so
pathway.
yes, and there are, we're doing a lot of shoulds. You should be this way, you should be
Yeah,
that way.
yeah,
And I do think it changes based on the situation, the kid and
mhm,
what's going on. Because there's also
yeah,
boundaries. There's also
yeah,
expectations. We're teaching them how to, make commitments and follow through and push yourself. And that's where sports really comes in.
mhm,
You're learning everything from teamwork, social, tribal, acceptance. And so when there is a kid out there and they're struggling, I think it's how we do what you said.
right.
It's how do we, yes, we want to celebrate with them, we want to support them, we want to do all those things, and it's not condemn them while they're on the field. But at the same time, this isn't just straight, you did absolutely terrible. Let's go get an ice cream, everybody gets a trophy, because that
Yeah,
doesn't work either.
no, it doesn't. No. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. There's that thing, but what we want to do is what we want to work to avoid is that embodying the idea of seeing your life through their lens, right? And living vicariously through their eyes as the athlete that we maybe never were, right? And it's okay, they're becoming successful. That means I'm now successful. And that's absolutely far from the truth. So let's talk now about that, because how old was he when he quit soccer?
So he stepped away, I want to say he was 11, 12 years old,
Okay.
somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
he carry on in sport? I can't remember now.
Yeah, so so again, know your kid as you learn about your kid and what's going on. So my kid was his name's Ethan. He's amazing. He's now 27
Yeah.
and turning 28
Bloody
here
hell.
next month. And he's in this incredible relationship. He's got a career. I mean, he's great. He's
Yeah.
good. But at that time, it was so he stepped away from soccer, which I kind of agreed with because he was playing club. He wasn't into it, and his confidence was getting shut down because he had
Hmm.
a very aggressive coach, which was fine for the coach and the team, but it didn't fit him. And his drive was to be, and always has been, to be different. Like he's like really structured in his thinking, but he's kind of artistic too, which
Mm.
I think probably should be like an architect or something. But he's into graphic design, and and it's cool to watch. But so when you put him on a team, somewhere around 11 or 12, we saw it. When you put him on a team, he shrank because he was
Mm.
supposed to conform. He was supposed to work within this structure, and that grated against his soul. I mean, all you got to do is tell my son something to do, and he will do the opposite. That's him. Okay. Whether it's for his benefit or not, he's
Yeah.
just like, I'm not going to do what you said. So and I don't just mean in the normal teenage way. It's like
Yes.
he needs to construct his own destiny, and he needs to figure it out, and he needs to do it his way. Accepting that, being an overly aggressive father is kind of where I was
Yeah.
really a hard transition for me. But he got into the sport of parkour.
Mm.
Okay,
That's
which
it.
I'm
I
sure is a lot.
remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, what the hell is parkour? You're just jumping around in a gym and climbing on stuff. And he started getting into it, and I'm watching this, and he was brilliant. Like he was so good.
Yeah.
It was like he was like, I don't, and this was back when all the videos were coming out, people jumping off crazy stuff. And I'm like, don't go on buildings. I didn't say that because he would have gone on the building, but he still went on the building. But the he started getting into this, but it was no longer team. It was no longer, he had a structured practice that he was working through this with a coach, but it wasn't, do this formation work with these other people. He had
Mhm.
the freedom to do it his way. He's a brilliant individual contributor, and he would push himself, extremely athletic, and all these things. He started to shine, and his confidence went up, and he was proud of himself. So it was literally the best transition for him.
Yeah.
For me, I was losing the game, is the way I looked at it. I'm like, well, I was too old. Nothing was working.
Yeah.
I couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
And now my connection, and again, it was about me.
Yeah.
So, but I had the awareness at that point to go, okay, this is about me. Let's make it about him,
Yeah.
and let's fully support him. And I go watch him at his parkour practice because they really don't have meets. They do now, but they didn't back then. Um, and watched him flourish, watch his confidence go up, watch all these things happen, and he still got to push himself.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's really
yeah,
cool.
parkour.
It's really cool that one of the things that I love what you said there was the fact that you had the realization, as hard as it was for you to say, I'm going to support him on his journey. Right. And it's never easy when you sit there and I know how much you like the game of soccer and I know how much you're into it. And to say that it's like, that's a challenge. But now you've got
Yeah,
your grandson. So what's the
yeah.
difference between now? Because your grandson does play at a high level.
Yeah, so he just naturally talented. He walked onto the field. He dominated starting at 4 or 5. He's that kid, and his parents extremely assertive, aggressive. Probably in a lot of cases, probably the parent were saying not to be. A lot of
Mm.
expectations put on him, which drove him. However, we're seeing it now where there's poor
Yeah.
wrong word, just poor repercussions that have
Yeah.
happened. But it's so with him, it's never been about talent. It's always been about teaching him how to have the discipline to push himself while not condemning him because he's not had the struggles that most of the other players have up until about 11 or 12. He is 16 now, and the last 4 years he's gotten all the struggle. And so I'll explain what I mean. So he's the one that's always been one of the best, if not the best on the team. He's elevated through the ranks, played years at MLS next level, and which is in the US is the highest level you can go. He played for the Seattle Sounders. They're paying for his flights. They're flying him around the country to
Yeah.
play people. He's in these big tournaments. He's playing international teams. I mean, he played Manchester City and Dortmund and like high level stuff, right? For the US. He didn't travel abroad and
Mhm.
go play them over in Europe. That would be where it's happening now. And then when he started playing for the Sounders, some interesting things happened is that his speed actually started dropping. He's always been an incredibly fast kid, but at the same time, he had to take growth hormone and other things because of different things going on in his
Yeah.
body. And so we're just thinking those were connected. He was putting on so much weight, so much height so quickly that we thought he was slowing down. And it turns out we just found out about 6 months ago, and he's actually had to leave the Sounders because he's got a hip thing and he's speed slowed and all these things. And he's gone down to ECNL, and he steps onto the ECNL field, and he was, my gosh, so dominant. It was incredible watching him in that game, but he walked off limping. And he's been having these hip pains for years while at Sounders, and they keep going, yeah, it's growth, it's growth. So finally got to a doctor that took a look at it, and his hip joint is not forming correctly. So he's got he's got to get surgery, two
Yeah.
surgeries to get it repaired. He'll be out for a year. He's now 16. That's when colleges look at you.
Yeah.
It's a
That's tough.
bad combo as to what's going on. And so it's how he's dealing with that under the pressure of performance and the
Yeah.
expectation that he's going to play professional soccer. And um, at 16, man, it's a hard road because you're figuring
Mhm.
out who you are at 16.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
he's looking at it and he's like going, and he's still, it's cool to watch because I actually think we're seeing that it's an actual passion for soccer instead of this is what I've always done and what I've always been
Mm.
good at.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And because he misses it and he wants
Yeah.
to get out there, and he's like, can we just, so he's doing a treatment that might low percentage give him a chance to avoid the surgery just so that he can play.
Right.
And so I don't know where you want to go with that, but that's kind of his story, and it's a different one. But I will tell you, the adversity is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't. He would say different. I mean, he would
Of
fight me
course you would.
completely
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
right? But when he hasn't had massive adversity up until 11 or 12, what was happening was we were seeing a swelling of his ego.
Mhm.
He walked on the field, he could dominate with the skill, and we're seeing behavioral issues that came with that.
Mm.
And not all the time, and he wasn't bad, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like he didn't have to work as hard because he was just better because the quality, and that's what happened. As he went to the MLS next, the quality finally matched him. And when the quality was there and he had never had the adversity before, mentally he started to shut down because he's like, wait, I'm supposed to dominate and I'm not dominating. And every time he didn't dominate, I don't mean play well, I mean complete domination, he'd shut down and his confidence would get shattered.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and because his family's about dominating and winning, he wasn't representing the values of the family. So therefore, he felt like he was not enough and that he couldn't, and literally, I mean, you could see it all the time. Not enough, not enough, not enough. Even when the performance was off the charts. However, maybe he didn't score, or
Right.
maybe he didn't make that pass, or maybe,
Yeah.
and it was like, why are you hung up on that? You did 40 other things that were amazing.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the transition of his family, his parents, and him, and this injury, and just kind of the path that is, my hope as I'm watching it, we're in the middle of it, is that all this adversity, which adversity to me is the great teacher, is he, even though it's hard at 16, he has that adversity. He finds the passion for the game or for whatever it is. And he latches onto the fun and the passion and throw out this, I need to be a professional. If he winds up being a professional, awesome.
Right. Yeah.
But if he can dig into love and passion, what comes out of that is all the growth and development. You learn to latch on and you learn all these skills and things versus just I win and dominate.
Yeah.
Which anyway,
Yeah.
it's a
No,
really interesting story. I can't wait to
it
tell you how
is.
it turns out in 10 years.
And you just unpacked so much there that our listeners could take away. The key there is adversity is okay. Right? Adversity for your kids is okay. We don't have to step in and rescue all of the time because the adversity can shape them into something amazing. And it's not good for them at the time. They don't feel comfortable. Like you said, if you asked him, he'd say, no, this sucks. But when it all passes and he looks back at it, he'll be like, I was shaped in that moment. How are you supporting him through all of this? Because I know that you are a big part of his life.
Yeah. So anytime I just do my best to spend time around him,
Yeah.
support him.
Yeah.
He gets so much pressure from everybody else to perform.
Mm,
My role in the situation is I'm a safe space that he doesn't have to perform to
yeah.
where he can be him. He can, I mean, we compete at everything. We had beanbag tossed. We went fishing last week. Him and his brother, we went on a fishing trip off the coast of Washington, and just hung out and had fun with him. And it was be goofy with him
Yeah.
and have adventures with him or whatever it is, but be a positive influence in his life. Understand that he's him.
Yeah.
He's not perfect. He's not whatever, and I still love him and I don't care. I think is my now it's different. I'm a grandparent, so it's different. I'm not in there day to
Yeah.
day and able to influence them like that. I think my number one connection with him is I send him soccer videos or goofy memes. And I know that sounds stupid, but it's awesome because it's like we have a online game we sometimes play together. Like it's like
Sweet.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the safe spot, I don't know that they always have, and nor would they ever admit that they need it. I think the deeper thing there that I just want to mention is the transition as a parent, grandparent, whatever it is. But I want to talk more parent because I think that's the harder transition. We got up till 8 are the formative years. That's where they create kind of this self perception, this image of
Hmm.
who they are. And you want to talk about when a parent's role is on display, and you're going to see it after 8. But you're going to it's kind of like, hey, here's the test 0 to 8. As a parent, under pure hell, you're figuring your life out. I don't have the money to support this kid. Like, how do I make all this stuff work? Right. And how do we show up under that stress and pressure with the kid often determines what type of kid we got afterwards. So 8 to 25, their brain's still forming, but at
Hmm.
8, there's certain pieces that are locked in.
Yep.
And their self-perception has happened up to those. So whether or not they go, I'm not enough, or I'm not this, or I am enough, or I am this, happens 0 to 8. So, and then from 8 on, you've got up till about 25, we're living in that story. So you go through teenage years and we're going through it and we're like, God, I'm ugly and I suck and I'm terrible at soccer and I'm this. That's all coming from what we did to them from 0
Yeah.
to 8,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And not helping them through that, not working through it, and us going to control them into it. And that's the part that has to shift as a parent. Is at 8, they start to go, okay, this is who I am, and they start to live it, and you start to see them doing it, and they start living it, and then we go, no, dummy, that's not how you do it, and then we condemn them, and then they have all this inner conversation going on. And we, from 8 to, God, it's forever, we have to let go of control. We have to slowly let go of the control and the guidance at least that's my perspective where I've seen success, is the more we stop controlling in those years and let them fail. And
Yes.
I don't mean obviously, something that could really hurt them. But I think so many parents are helicopter parents. Like, you can't wear that shirt with those pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
It's okay.
They can.
Yeah.
And all these kids now, they go to school in pajamas, and there's some parents that won't let their kids go to school in pajamas. I'm like,
Hmm.
all the kids are wearing it. Go to school in
Yeah.
pajamas,
Do
and they
whatever.
don't
Yeah.
match. I saw
Yeah.
one kid; he's wearing like red and green shirt with like neon orange, and I mean, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? But it's not my deal.
No.
He's probably the most popular kid in school because he walks around like an idiot, you
Yeah.
know?
Probably. Yeah. Everyone loves him because he can be himself.
Yeah, but I just think that the control we exert as parents is really about them growing up and us needing to feel valued or our self-worth being connected and how they show up, and it's our shit that we're our stuff that we're controlling them. And then the outcome of that is when they get some freedom, they lash out, they go all in different directions because they're like, oh my gosh, I have freedom. I have a car I can drive and go hang out with my friends, or I go off to college finally, I don't have to deal with them,
Yeah.
and it goes sideways.
Yeah. I talk to parents all the time. I think it's I think it's the hardest job in the world to be a parent because it doesn't come with an instruction manual and every kid is different. I've got 2 daughters and oldest daughter is so very different to the youngest daughter. And so you have to adjust your parenting style accordingly. But of course, we don't know how to do that because we're coming from how we were parented. And so we think, oh, that's just how it's done. It's because I was parented like that. That must be how it's done. But it's challenging. And I agree with you. Learning to let go of control, so hard because
No.
we want to keep them safe. You said something to me a long time ago about Ethan, actually, about your job as a parent. You said, my job as a parent, if they want to run into a brick wall and hurt themselves, my job as a parent is to say, carry on. When you're ready, I can show you round or over or under that brick wall. But carry on. But my job as a parent is when I see them running towards a cliff, now I step in. Right. And you actually said that to me a long time ago. And I said it to my kids. And I'll never forget this. We were in the dining room in this house, actually. And something was going on with my oldest daughter. And my wife was stepping in to do something. And she turned around and said, Mum, this is just a wall. And if I want to run into it, I can.
Well,
I
this
cursed
this
your
sounds
name
like
that day.
this sounds like very wise words. I can't
Yeah.
believe I said that, but I'll take the
Yeah.
credit. That's
Yeah.
good.
You did. You
That's
did.
nice.
Yeah. They were very wise and they've helped me out no end. So thank you for
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
but go
Go
on.
ahead.
No, carry on.
I just I guess I want to touch on this last part, or maybe you have a different direction to go. So at this stage, seeing college athletes and working with
Mm-hmm.
college athletes, right? So we talked about them younger, we talked about them kind of as teenagers, and then the outcome, which we were getting there, is that so we get the chance at Driven Leadership to go in. I was doing a little slide there. I got my name
Yeah.
out there through your
Yeah. I'm going
podcast.
to
There we
put it at the
go.
end for sure. You can promote it at the end.
So it was like 15 years ago. Yeah, 15. I think it was 15 years ago. We had our first athletic team at the university level. It was a TCU tennis team. And our job was to go in there and work with these kids and the coaches and help them really gel quicker and overcome the anxiety and pressure when all the spotlight's on them, right? And how do they deal with that? And so we put together a program and we're working with them, and it really worked. And it was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years into doing that and having a few other teams, we started looking at patterns and the things that were happening with these kids and what was taking place. And we're 15 years in, and we've got all these teams that we work with across the country with this, and not just soccer or tennis or golf or volleyball or whatever. At this stage, it is very clear that the parenting has such a massive impact on how they do at this level.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, for most of them, the parenting is mostly done. You send them off to college, they're making their own decisions, they're doing that. But all the things that those parents have done, where they're not, I mean, so many of them, like we were just talking about, they get there to college and they're like, freedom. Well, they're a menace to the culture of the team because they're running off and doing partying, doing all this stuff because they're finally free. And the team needs them to perform at the same level they were in high school. But the only reason they were performing at that level in high school is because the pedal is on them and the control is on them, and they don't know how to do it without it. So what you did is, yes, you got the short-term result by controlling them, but you lost the bigger game because you couldn't do it the right way, or do it a way that helps them get there. Then you got the other side, which they just coddled them and protected them and shielded them from all the pains of the world. And so then they get to college and they get there and they're like, oh my gosh, I stubbed my toe, and now they can't play, or they can't handle the burden and the pain and the discipline required to be able to perform. So the real goal that we're after to prepare them for college sports or even professional sports is the ability to stand on their own 2 feet, to have the
Mm-hmm.
discipline and the drive on their own
Yeah.
without your support and your push. And you've got to have a few years under their belt of doing that
Yeah.
before they go there. And if they don't, then you got to make a shift.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, the 16-year-old doesn't want to listen to you. So you got to make this shift at 14, and you go, or 12 or 10, or why don't we just start this thing from the beginning in a different way? And I know if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I've got a 16-year-old right now. Great. I get it. I understand. I was you. I had to make a shift. So your choices are: make a shift and make a dent in this and start working on it, or don't make a shift. And the end result will be absolutely a lot of challenges and issues later.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to talk through that back end, because, and one thing I'll leave, we were at it was a tennis team. I won't give the name of the team, but they were nationally ranked, top 5 in the country, had won national titles just the year before and before that. And we're out there watching one of their matches. It wasn't a training, we're just watching it. And the player's dad was in the stands. And so this place is full and high profile. It's on ESPN, all the stuff's going on. And the dad yells out after a player had a bad point. I mean, they missed or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't good. And the dad yells out, because I've spent over $1 million on you to be this bad.
Yeah.
And he got up and he left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And if you listen to this, you go, well, I'm not that bad. Okay, good. I'm glad you're not that bad. But I think all of us as parents make the mistake of being some micro version of that at different
Right.
times.
Somewhere along the line. Yep.
And
And
yeah,
like I said, we're not blaming, we're not shaming. It's just a fact, right? That we have to be more aware of ourselves. We have to be more aware of our parenting style and sit and look in the mirror and say, is there a shift I need to make? Right? Because as they're getting to teens, they are looking for independence. They just don't want all of the consequences that come with independence. And so we've
yeah,
got to be able
they
to
need
just
that.
kind of let them go a little bit, but still be there to somewhat support them as they go and show them unconditional. Yeah, we love you anyway. Dumb choice, but I'm still here.
I think I would add to that whatever saying I said years ago about running
Yeah.
into a wall.
Yeah.
You can watch them run into the wall. I'm like, sometimes give them a helmet
Yeah.
and then step away. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I hear you. That's the dumb move, but
Yeah.
here's a helmet. I
Yeah.
wish you the best.
Yeah.
Come on back. We don't want them to crack their skull.
No, we don't.
Okay.
No.
But if they
No.
break an arm, which sounds horrible,
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good one because they're going to learn from it. You
Yeah.
put your hand on the stove once and you burn
Right.
yourself and you know.
You
But
know,
if mom's sitting there protecting it the whole time, it seems more interesting because
it
mom
does.
won't let me touch it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of things here, and I want to thank you for your time here. We're going to wrap this up. Some great advice there, and some great tips that we want to look at as parents. And this is part of this podcast idea: is this isn't, we don't know everything there is to know about being parents. That's not what we're about. But through our experiences, through your experiences, you've seen young pressure, what it does, teen pressure, what it does, and then even into college and what the outcome of all of that is. So if you're a parent listening to this, just take something of it, a snippet of it will might help you. And if you
Take it
want more,
all.
yeah, if you just take it all. If you want more content, more information, you can reach out to me, Tony at MPB Coaching. I'm here to talk you through this. I can even connect you to Eric, the wise master of all of this, and make sure.
Wise master.
Wise master. So you work with Driven Leadership. Tell us a little snippet about that and how they can get hold of you if they want any leadership development work.
Yeah. So, past it's 2010, we started Driven Leadership. So it's been quite a while. And we mainly work with businesses. So we go in, we help leaders develop, not in a coaching format, in a training format. And we have advanced level trainings, online management school. We've got all these type of things that we do. We also work with university athletic teams, but we're just really about help people having more understanding, awareness, behavioral shifts on how they lead people to get a better result.
Fantastic. And if someone
And
wants to get hold of you, where can they find
yeah,
you?
drivenleadership.com. Just reach out there.
Sweet. Love
Yeah,
it.
or you can call
Eric,
Tony. Tony knows how to get hold of me too.
when he does decide to answer me.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, fair.
yeah. Eric, thank you very much for your time. It's been wonderful having you on the show. I love the insights that you've given. There's a lot of wisdom in that.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
yeah,
And this is officially going to be retitled the Bald Man's Podcast. I'm just saying.
I just need to grow a beard now.
Yeah, you got to get on it.
I will. All right. Thanks for listening to the Confidence in Action podcast. It's been wonderful having you here today. And if you want more information on this, please reach out to us. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Share this with a parent or player who needs it and follow for new episodes every Thursday. I'm Coach Tony. Go play free.